Hello, my name is Kathleen Chiras, and we are back again for another interview with an exceptional buyer's agent. We have the pleasure today of interviewing one of the top exclusive buyer agents of Buyer Agent Search, Alta. Alta is a broker who has been in the real estate business since 1967 and an exclusive buyer's broker since 1990. She is based out of Boulder, Colorado. Alta is an accredited buyer's agent, a certified residential specialist, a graduate of Realtor Institute, and a certified exclusive buyer's agent. A very impressive list of credentials. She's been rated a 10-plus broker with our service since I think about 2001, which means she has been rated over and over again with a perfect 10 out of 10 points by real estate buyers. In fact, one of her buyers had this to say about her: I feel very comfortable working with Alta, always feel like she has my back and has the years of experience, knowledge, and integrity to examine the necessary documents thoroughly to fully protect my interests. Welcome, Alta, and thank you for joining us here on our Buyer Agent Search interview series. Please quickly just introduce yourself and tell us what's your biggest motivation to become an exclusive buyer's agent.
Thank you, Kathleen, for this opportunity. Finding exactly the right property for the right buyer has always been my first love. Like you said, I've been a realtor since 1967, but for many of the later years, we all were in a system of sub-agency, which meant that the seller's agent and the buyer's agent or buyer's broker all had to work for the seller. The industry then came to realize that something that the attorneys had always known, and that was that agency is not created by who pays us, but by our relationship with our client. And I believed then, and I still believe, that the only way to avoid the conflicts and assure the buyers that you can protect their interests is to be an exclusive agent of the buyer.
Great. Well, I know you must understand Boulder, Colorado inside out. Can you tell us something unique or interesting about living there?
Well, I think the most interesting thing about Boulder are the interesting people that live there. Many of the residents choosing to live here could live anywhere in the world, and they decide to live in Boulder. The Flatirons and the Rocky Mountains in the background. We have mild weather, sunshine most of the days of the year, biking and hiking trails in the city and up into the foothills. We have the University of Colorado and 17 federal laboratories that make Boulder their home. We have Pearl Street Mall, unique shopping and restaurants, public festivals, farmers markets twice a week in the summer, and close proximity to skiing and all the wonderful recreational pursuits that we have. Boulder's been named one of the fittest communities in the nation, and a recent ranking by 24/7 Wall Street said that Boulder has the distinction of being the most educated city in America. And they found that more high-growth companies on the 2017 Inc. 5000 list are based in Boulder than in any of the other 8 regions, that Boulder ranks highest for the most restaurants per capita. And also something that's very close to my heart is that Boulder tied with Seattle for the most coffee shops per capita. And according to the Gallup Wellbeing Index, Boulder is the happiest city in America. So my point is that all this makes for a really interesting population.
You know, you must know all the neighborhoods in the Boulder area inside out from being there so long and being a real estate agent there. So we want the people who watch this video to have an idea of the things to expect if they buy in Boulder or the surrounding area. Can you please tell us about the median price of a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Boulder?
Well, the median price as of this month in the city of Boulder is about $1,225,000. The most expensive home listed this month is $8,700,000, and the lowest was $499,900, and that's single-family home. There are some other communities close to Boulder that are wonderful, and they're still building, and they have their own unique advantages. Louisville has a median price of $645,000. Lafayette's is $700,000. Southwest Longmont's is $812,000, although the entire city of Longmont is $469,900. but with enough time and perseverance, you can find a decent 3-bedroom home in Boulder for under $700,000, and in Longmont for under $500,000, and just a little bit south in Arvada and Westminster, there are parts that you can find a nice 3-bedroom home for under $400,000.
So as someone coming from out of state, say Alta, what do you think I as a potential buyer should do to prepare for a move to Boulder?
Go to my website. There's a lot of information about Boulder and the surrounding areas, and then call me. I'd love to visit with you. If it doesn't matter if you're not going to move for months, I'd be happy to set up your My Site, which would bring listings that instantly that are coming on the market, and it helps you keep up with what's happening on the market in the area. And it also keeps those listings, it keeps the status current. So if something goes under contract or sells, you can find out what it sold for, gives you a good idea of what's going on in the neighborhoods. We do work under a buyer agency agreement, but until you're here and really looking at property, we don't need to execute that agreement. And you don't pay me. I receive my fee from the transaction at closing. And if you're in Boulder now, just call and come in and meet with me. There's no obligation at all.
Well, that sounds great. So can you tell us, Alta, what you have done recently to help a home buyer purchase in your area?
Well, I had a past client call me about the middle of July and tell me that he'd found a lady wandering around in his complex, and he talked with her, and she was trying to find out kind of where she wanted to live, what neighborhood she wanted to live in Boulder, and she was there for just a short time. And he gave her my name, and he called me and said he had given my name out, but he said all I could remember was that her name was Jean, and that she would call me. Well, time went on, and she didn't call, and 2 or 3 weeks later, she called me in a panic that she had put her house on the market in Massachusetts and that it sold almost instantly. And so now she was going to be in a bind to try to find something in Boulder to buy, and she knew there was nothing that she could rent. So she asked me if I'd represent her, and I said, well, I would just love to, but I was getting ready to go on a Russian cruise, and I was going to be gone in 3 weeks, and I knew that that wasn't enough time to really get her through the process. And she said, oh no, it really is. She said, I'll just come right away and we'll start working on it. And so so she did, and we found a condominium in about 4 days, which was just totally, it only happens if it's supposed to, believe me, because it's sometimes really hard to find property here. And it's a beautiful condo it was under 700,000, and it's has a whole beautiful view of the whole Front Range. And so we got the title work done and the HOA documents all gone through and approved, and her inspection's over with, and I was able to go to Russia, and then she closed when I got back, and she's happy. And the best part of it is that she's become a really good friend. And I found that, over the years, so many of my good friends used to be my clients.
I'm sure there's so many things that you can share about being one of the top exclusive buyer agents for Skyfor's Buyer Agent Search Service and the Colorado Exclusive Buyer Agents Association. So I'd like to ask you one final question that every informed buyer should ask of their agent. And so as an exclusive buyer's agent, what do you do to protect someone who's planning to buy real estate property in Boulder?
Well, I think the best part for the buyers that I start to work with is that I promise to be there all the time. Whenever they need me, I use my expertise and the years of experience to help guide them through really trying to find a property. Sometimes we have to pull buyers away from a property just because we know that there are going to be so many things that they're going to have to deal with. But from the time that we go under contract and negotiate for the contract, go under contract, reports and inspections and all the things that they have to learn to get through the transaction, I'm right with them and making sure that they understand what they're doing. I make sure that they understand the HOA documents and the title work, and that they've thoroughly inspected what they need to inspect for that property, and just stick with them all through closing, and even after closing, I still consider them my client, and they, a lot of times they're clients for life.
Well, no wonder home buyers find you such a delight to work with, Alta. You help them find their dream home, and you make it a fun and protected experience. I want to thank you for sharing your expertise with us today.
Thank you, Kathleen.